Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
The term which is coined is not that much old, might be 2 centuries. But the concept was there. I mean, the previous ulama, even though they didn't use the term Wilayah Takwini, but they used to believe in the concept. From among Shia scholars, there are few that they were influenced. One was influenced by Wahhabi ideology. He was known as to be the Wahhabi Shia, Sayyid al-Fadl Burqa'i. And he was a preacher of Wahhabi ideologies. He had some background of political challenges. Anyhow, he chose a specific lifestyle, and he used to preach, even though he claimed that I'm Shia, still Shia, but he used to reject lots of Shia views, and even he translated some Wahhabi books. And so he was influenced by them. He is the person who claims that he rejects the Wilayah Takwini, the creational kind of Wilayah. He came to say that the miracles which are done by the prophets is not their job, but Allah did it. It's the job of Allah, and it is only to prove that these prophets are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he says, even if we say that it is done by the Prophet, it is only for the limited occasion. It doesn't mean that he has the absolute power to do whatever. So at least to this extent he accepts that we might accept that the prophets may have power, but to do that a specific job which is given permission by Allah. Another one is Sayyid Muhammad Hussein Fadlallah, the Lebanese scholar. He had a very apologetic approach, and also he used to say that his approach was very to sort of make Shia close to Sunnis, and whatever was accepted by Sunnis, in many cases he used to support it, even the Shahada of Lady Fatima Zahra in these stories, just to make, to remove the challenges. So he's not that much academic. I mean, at least the text is not supporting to what he used to say. Then he also rejects the idea of Wilayah Takwini. He says that, of course, if somebody says Wilayah is in a sense that Allah has given them the full authority, and then it's not in the hand of Allah anymore. So Allah has given them, there is a kind of absolute empowerment. This is Tafwidh, and this is not acceptable. That we also believe in that. This is what we also agree with him. Then he says the function of the Prophet or Imam is only to request. The concept that we are studying here is to say that the prophets, even though they said we are humans like you, it doesn't mean that they were humans in all sense, and they didn't have any power. They didn't have any extraordinary power. Even though they were human and they said we are humans like you, so we cannot give you whatever you want. Sometimes they asked something which was nonsense. They said, show us Allah to us. It's impossible to show Allah to people. Or sometimes they said something which is harmful. They said, make the heaven to collapse on the earth, and the whole earth to be exploded. This is nonsense. Or sometimes they asked things that even if the prophets were about to bring, it wasn't to support their prophethood. They said, if you are a prophet, so show us a big garden with lots of trees. So if the prophet was about to show them a big garden, they say, okay, you are a rich person. So if it is going to be a sign of a prophethood, so all these aristocrats, rich people, they are prophets. So the request was not reasonable. In these occasions, the prophets didn't accept the request that they had for miracle. And they said we are humans like you, means that we do things that Allah has permitted us. But it doesn't mean that the prophets didn't have any power. When we look at Quran doesn't support the idea to say that the prophet was not involved. The prophet just asked and Allah did everything. Look at the verse in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 110. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to Isa alayhi salam. إِذْ قَالَ اللَّهُ يَا إِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ. When Allah said, oh Isa, اذكر نعمتي عليك وعلى والدتك. Remember my blessing to you and to your mother. As أيدتك بروح القدس. I supported you by روح القدس. روح القدس was with you. This روح القدس is important. When روح القدس is there, the support of روح القدس comes, then you can do extraordinary things. What was that? تُكَلِّمُ النَّاسَ فِي الْمَهْدِ. You spoke to people while you were in cradle. So Isa talked to people or Allah talked to people? Say Fadlallah is saying that Allah does it, but he just requests Allah to do it. The Prophet just requests Allah to do it. Isa was requesting Allah to speak, or Isa was speaking to people? Isa was speaking. So speaking as a miracle, this is a miracle, isn't it? For a baby which is newly born to talk and to say, Inni Abdullah atani al-kitab, it's a miracle. So this is not requesting Allah to do that. Isa himself is speaking. But we know that Isa is speaking by the help of al-Qudus, which is coming from Allah. The support and the help and the aid is coming from Allah, and the Prophet is doing that. So when Isa talked to people in the cradle, تُكَلِّمُ النَّاسَ فِي الْمَهْدِ وَكَهْلًا وَإِذْ عَلَّمْتُكَ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ, I taught you the book, so the knowledge you received. وَإِذْ تَخْلُقُ مِنَ الطِّينِ كَهَيْئَةِ الطَّيْرِ بِإِذْنِ. Is تَخْلُقُ, you created. Allah, who is saying this? Allah is saying this. And these Wahhabis and these people, they say it's shirk. Allah is doing shirk. Allah says, Isa, you created. You created. You created. Does it mean that you requested for creation or you created? Is takhluqu. Takhluqu. It's clear. You created. Allah is saying to Isa alayhi salam that you created a bird. But بإذني, by my permission. Is تخلق من الطين كهيئة الطير بإذني. وتبرئ الأكمه والأبرص بإذني. You healed the blind and the leper by my permission. Who healed? Allah or Isa? Isa. تبرئ. تبرئ is clear. You're doing ta'wil, you're doing tafsir batani. They accuse us of tafsir batani, they do tafsir batani themselves. This is very clear that Allah says you healed, you created. وَإِذْ تُخْرِجُ الْمَوْتَى. تُخْرِجُ الْمَوْتَى means you revived the dead. You came to a dead person, you revived him. So you are muhyi. You give ihya. You didn't ask me to do ihya. You did it. You did it by yourself. But bi'izni, by my permission. So you see that to say that the Prophet has no influence here is just asking Allah, is against Quran. To say that the Prophet is not capable to do something which is extraordinary is against Quran.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد